Alright, the next quiz will be on George Washington and Patrick Henry, and the Northeast region states will be on that quiz. And I did not say to turn in your books to the Northeast region of your states, did I?
No.
So why are some of you there? Do you know I have the video on, and I'm not very happy that you're making me have to get on to you about that? I told you to turn to page 107, and that's where you should be. When you go home to study, you can study using your book, the Northeast region. But right now I have the charts up here, so you get your eyes up here. And you do it from this. All right.
Maine, New York, Pennsylvania, New Hampshire, Vermont, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Connecticut.
Connecticut. This one is Delaware. Rhode Island, Connecticut. Rhode Island, Connecticut.
Delaware.
I'm not going to Delaware.
New
New Jersey.
Maryland.
That was sad. Sit up and pay attention. This will be on the quiz on Wednesday. Do you understand me? So eyes up here.
Maine, New York, Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, New Hampshire,
What?
New Hampshire, Vermont,
Let's go in order.
Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, New York, Massachusetts, New York, Massachusetts, New York, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Maryland, Delaware.
Do you know that if you can't remember on the test, just do them in order. You guys seem to be much quicker when I go in a certain order. Please don't be looking at that page now. This is not the time for that. We have the chart right here. You do not need to be looking in your book at it. When you study quiz on Wednesday, then you can look in your book at that and study that from your book. All right, now let's do the Southeast region.
Virginia, West Virginia, Kentucky, Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Louisiana, Arkansas, Florida.
All right. Now, let's start reading on page 107, and then I am going to review for the quiz that will be on Wednesday. Everybody's eyes should be on their book, 107. All right, we said that George Washington was first in war, and we talked about how he became the commander-in-chief of the armies for the War for Independence. Now we're going to talk about first in peace. Before the war, there were 13 colonies. Now, there were 13 states. During the war, the colonists had joined together and fought for their freedom. Now, what would they do? A committee had already been chosen to prepare a written plan of government for the new nation. The first plan was called the Articles of Confederation. Did they use that one? No. That was the first plan of government, but they did not use that one. Soon, however, many people could see that this plan of government would not work. A group of men from each state came to Philadelphia. Their job was to improve the Articles of Confederation. In the end, they wrote a whole new plan, or Constitution. Their meeting was called the Constitutional Convention, because they wrote the Constitution at it, right? Benjamin Franklin was the oldest man at the meeting, and he was the peacemaker. George Washington was chosen to be president of this meeting. At last, the Constitution of the United States was written. What is the Constitution? Read with me. The Constitution set up a plan of government for our country. The Constitution made the President of the United States the leader of our country's government. Turn the page, and please follow along as I read. Use your marker. All right, first in war, first in peace, and now first in the hearts of his countrymen. Now the the United States had another decision to make: who would be their first president. There was no doubt in most people's minds George Washington was the best choice for President of the United States of America. They knew that they could depend on him to be a good leader. President Washington served the United States of America well for 8 years. He made many decisions to help his new country grow. Then he returned to live at Mount Vernon. Well over 200 years have passed, yet the people of the United States still honor their first president, George Washington, the man who united 13 colonies into one great nation. The words that best describe George Washington are brave, strong, honest, and true. These words should describe what each American should be for his country. What are the 3 greatest things to remember about George Washington? He was, everybody, first in war. He commanded the American army against the English. First in peace. He led the Constitutional Convention. And first in the hearts of his countrymen. He was elected the first president of the United States. All right, during the War for Independence, which army was better trained to fight, the colonists or the English? Paige.
English,
Why?
because they had not just made a new
Somebody want to help her out? She's got the right answer. It is the English that were better trained, but why?
Because they were actually trained and they were actually in armor and they had guns.
Not necessarily armor, but they had uniforms and they had weapons.
Good uni-
And what was the colonists? The colonists, were they really soldiers?
No, because most of them were farmers that did not have guns.
Most of
Only
them
the
just were
farmers.
untrained farmers. Some of them did not even have guns at all, right? But they wanted freedom. They were willing to fight for freedom. What country sent ships to help the colonists fight against the English? What country helped the colonies fight?
France.
France, very good. What was the first written plan of government for the United States? Now, I said first, not the one that was used, but the first. Jonathan?
the Articles of Confederation.
Okay, so everybody, please pay attention. What was the first plan of government, the one that was not used?
The
The
Articles
Articles
of
of
Confederation.
Confederation. Did you say that with us? I don't think you did. Everyone again, what was the first written plan of government for the United States? Articles of Confederation. And what was the plan of government that they eventually used?
Constitution.
Why are some of you turning in your books to other pages? I know you're not listening if you're doing that. Who was chosen to be the first president of the United States? George Washington. All right, why was it said of him first in war? Look at the choices there, A, B, or C. What was the reason why he was said to be first in war? Somebody who hasn't answered yet. Ben.
He commanded the American army against the
Yes, he was first in war because he commanded the American army against the English. Why was he first in peace? You already answered, thank you. Landon,
C.
read it.
Led the Constitutional Convention.
Very good, he led the Constitutional Convention. And why was he known as first in the hearts of his countrymen? Micah,
B.
read it.
Elected first president of the United States.
Very good. All right, now I want to review with you the quiz, so please just close your books. Do not put them away yet. Just close them and look up here and answer these questions. All right. What do you call a person who measures land and draws maps?
Surveyor.
Surveyor. Very good, Liam. What is a person who measures land and draws maps?
Surveyor.
What was the date that the Declaration of Independence was approved?
1779.
1770.
Eight.
No. not it.
Six.
Six. 1776 is the year, but I need a month and a day too. And it's a very famous month and day. You should know it.
Veterans Day.
No. 4th, our country's birthday. July 4th, 1776. So when was the Declaration of Independence approved?
July
4th, 1776. During the War for Independence, which soldiers were called redcoats? Abby? British. I heard somebody say it, but I was calling on Abby, but anyway. The answer is British. Everybody? Who were the redcoats? The British soldiers. Who became first president of the United States? And Patrick Henry demanded that something be added to the Constitution. What do you call the thing that he wanted added to the Constitution? Page? Bill of Rights. What was added to the Constitution because of Patrick Henry? Bill of Rights. Patrick Henry was the first governor of what state? The first governor of what state? Somebody who hasn't answered. Really? Patrick Henry was the first governor of what state? I'll give you a hint. It was one of our southeast region states. Abby? Virginia. Very good. Virginia. Patrick Henry was the first governor of Virginia. Is everybody with me? I feel like some of you are not paying attention. Who said, "Give me liberty or give me death"? Who said that? Tess? What? I can't hear you. I really don't understand what you're saying.
I said I forgot what I was going to say.
Okay. You guys understand there was only 2 people on this quiz. And I've already told you we're the 2 people on this quiz, so you have 2 choices. Who said it? Right? Patrick Henry. Wasn't George Washington, so it must have been Patrick Henry, right? So who said, "Give me liberty or give me death"?
Patrick Henry.
What was the first written plan of government for the United States? The first written plan of government for the United States. Zeke. No, that's the one that we used. That's not the first one. Remember the first one that we didn't use? We didn't use it. It wasn't good. They decided, nah, that's not going to work. Who can tell me the first written plan of government for the United States? What was it called? Jonathan?
Articles of Confederation.
Everybody, you need to say this. What is the first written plan of government for the United States?
Articles of Confederation.
We didn't use it though. They changed it to the Constitution.
Of the United States.
You can just say the Constitution. The French and Indian War was fought between France and
Indians.
New.
England.
English.
You don't listen very well if you know. No. I told you. Do not think the French and Indian War was fought between the French and the Indians. You need to know who the other person is. The Indians helped both sides. No, not the Americans.
English.
Somebody said it. The English. The French and Indian War was fought between France and England. If you say France and you don't say the English, you say France and England.
I never
Right?
said
I know, but if you say the French, but between the French and then you would say the English. But if I say between France, that's the name of the country, then you need to give me the name of the country, England. Okay? I'm going to ask you again, class. The French and Indian War was fought between France and England. Who was the first commander-in-chief of the American Army?
George Washington.
Very good. George Washington, first president and first commander-in-chief of the American Army. By the way, that quiz will be on Wednesday, and it will include these states.